I write about in the book this sort of experiment I did with one of my friends, Dave, when I was an addict. He wanted to try heroin, so he's like, I gave him some, and this is before I was like a hardcore junkie, but I was on the way. The next morning, I was like, what'd you think? Wasn't that the best thing ever? He's like, it was all right, but I kind of like threw up a lot and it kind of sucked. I did this experiment. The next time we did it, I had him, while he was on it, I had him write down in a notebook how he was feeling when he was on it. And he was like, oh, this is the best thing ever. This is amazing. And then the next morning, he woke up and then he was throwing up and he felt terrible the next morning. He's like, fuck that shit. I'm not doing that shit again. And I was like, look what you wrote last night. And he looked at it and he was like, yeah, but it's not worth the consequences. And what I realized then is that that's why I call it a memory disease. It's like some people like Dave, they do the drug, they understand the feeling, but they put it in the context of their rest of their lives. And like, they're just like, hey, it's all right, but it's just not worth the trade-off. Whereas for someone like me, all I can remember is what it was like when I was on it. All I can remember. And like, to this day, I've been clean for 22 years. To this day, it's important for me to use artificial means of keeping the memory of the reality of addiction alive. That's why I go to meetings, so I can hear people who are coming off the streets and talk about their experiences. Because if I close my eyes and just think about drugs, what I think about still is that phantom first time. That memory failure, that memory glitch is something that some people have and some people don't. Now, there's probably a genetic component to it because it tends to run in families and so forth. But even so, it's mysterious what triggers it. Most people will do even extremely hard drugs and never have a problem. But for 10 to 15 to 20% of people, it's going to be different. That memory disease is going to get started. And once it's in you, it's like a virus. It could take years, it could take months, but eventually it's gonna be a situation.